Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations, as always, to the elect. And I wanted to go into Revelation, the 17th chapter, which deals, with history and prophecies that will lead to the doom of Babylon the Great, as the day of doom is upon us, and the end of Esau's world, is right around the corner, which what precedes that is the kingdom, of Jacob, right after the fall of Esau's world, pursuant to Daniel, the 7th chapter, is the kingdom of heaven, ushered in, through the Son of the Most High, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. You see? So I wanted to get into this chapter, and may you brothers and sisters be edified, which there are breakdowns, our apostles and elders in particular, brothers have done, but through the Spirit, I wanted to go into it as well. And may you brothers and sisters be edified, because that is the reason we are doing these lessons, to give you the understanding so that you can be rooted, in the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, by hearing the new song. Revelation 17:1, and there came one of the 7 angels. Now remember, John, the revelator, the last disciple who directly walked with Yahweh Shai to be alive, is on the Isle of Patmos receiving these visions, from the Most High through Yahweh Shai, through angels sent to him to open his understanding and give him particular visions. And remember, John, the Apostle John was the, sort of like the best friend of Yahweh Shai. So it would make sense that he was the one, who would receive these visions, as the other disciples had been put to death, He was alive to receive these visions, and this book is very important to us, as it foretells the coming of the MOTB and the end of the beast system that we live in, headed by Babylon and Great America. So it says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. And the great whore that sitteth upon many waters is Babylon the Great. And the waters, as we'll show you when you continue reading down, represent the people sitting upon many waters, as it says in the book of, what's that, Ezekiel, the 28th chapter. It symbolizes ruling the people. You see, it symbolizing having control, over resources, trade. And that's what, Babylon the Great was able to do, along with adding NATO and the EU. Now, this is the book of Ezekiel 28:2. It says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, which now this speaks to Esau, Edom. The prince of Tyrus had, waxed rich through the ability to trade. They were on the, right by the water, so he was able to, amass many riches unto himself through trade and through having control and through ruling over the people, and he waxed proud. But as you continue reading this vision, you can see clearly it's speaking to Esau, Edom as well. Son of man, saying to the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. The midst of the seas represent the people. Yet thou art a man and not God, even though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High God. And as you keep reading, it says, thou art wiser than Daniel. He's able to use, his witchcraft on the left-hand side, to predict, the future, to interpret things. He's able to, with his technology, surveil the earth, tracking people. Nothing can be hid from him. This is what the Heavenly Father all right, has given this devil power to do with this beast system, and with thy wisdom thou, all right, and with thine understanding, which is left-handed wisdom and understanding, okay, thou hast gotten thee riches and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures by thy great wisdom, and by thy trafficking, humans, trafficking, animals, trafficking resources all throughout the planet Earth, as the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, gives the outline. Let's get that book, the book of Revelation, the 18th chapter, how they would trade by ships. Let's just get to the point. Okay. Revelation 18 and 17, for in 1 hour is so great riches come to naught when this place is destroyed, and every shipmaster and all the company of ships, all right, and sailors and as many trade by sea stood afar off. And America has, all right, the most imports of any country in the world. Clearly, this is talking about America. You have people saying Babylon the Great is the Vatican. The Vatican isn't trading and importing the most out of any of the countries in the world. It's America. Okay, so they were made rich, as you see here in verse 19. These nations are going to cry when this great whore is destroyed. All right, because ultimately they made a bunch of money by being in league with the whore. Okay, so these particular merchants were made rich by the ships that they had in the sea. And this is clearly speaking of America, Babylon the Great. Okay, as a matter of fact, I have some things pulled up here. Let's see here. Let's look up which country has the most imports, all right, by sea, to show you that this Bible is faithful and true. Is speaking of the very system that we're living in. John the Revelator received these visions and is speaking to what we are living through right now. Give me 1 second here while this comes up. All right. Which country let's see here. The United States. All right, importers. Which country has the most imports? So United States exports, imports, all right, is pretty much number one. All right, you can look more into that. All right, but clearly these scriptures are speaking of, all right, the very system we're living in now. Okay, so Ezekiel 28:4, with thy wisdom and thine understanding thou hast gotten thee riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. And by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. And this is the mindset of America, Babylon the Great. So going back to Revelation, the 17th chapter, okay, this angel is getting ready to show him the judgment of the great whore that sitteth on many waters, okay? And they have control of the people, all right? And through their philosophies, their mindset as well, they have control of the people. But their policy, all right, pretty much you have to trade, all right, in dollars, all right? I believe it's a certain percentage of deals, all right, throughout this world that the dollar somehow, some way has an influence. Okay, and that dollar is one of the many ways these nations commit fornication with Babylon, as well as her democracy, which we'll get all into all of that. But as you see here, let's get the book of Nahum, the 3rd chapter, all right, which is speaking of the judgment of ancient Nineveh, but again, that which is then is now. Okay, America is the modern day Nineveh. Nahum 3:4. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts. Okay? that selleth nations through her whoredoms. You buy nations over to your witchcraft through whoredoms. All right. You go throughout the four corners of the earth. All right. Ruining cultures, turning the women against the men. All right. Polluting the children. Okay. With all of your wine. Okay. And when you look at, all right, the empire of Nineveh before it fell, the leaders were cross-dressers, the women were whores, family structure was all messed up. All right. And the nations, I believe the Medes and the Babylonians knew, all right, that we could roll on these people because they're through. All right, which Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. Okay, so ultimately, the mistress of witchcrafts, the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, which that speaks to America today. She goes around the earth, all right, playing the harlot with her many lovers. Okay, and she sitteth upon many waters, as the scriptures talk about Lucifer. He would sit up on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north, you know, having control over the Israelites. Okay. Pretty much subduing the nations. Okay. As it talks about in Revelation 13 real quick, and then we'll keep going. Revelation, the 13th chapter, as this beast system is described. Revelation 13:7, and it was given unto him power to make war with the saints, the Israelites, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. See? And they that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. Okay? So through Esau, Edom ruling, okay, he's been given power over all nations, especially you Israelites. All right? And ultimately he's able to spread his propaganda, his wickedness, all right, using that sword. You see? Revelation 17:2, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication. All right, as the scriptures tell you, all right, Babylon have been a golden cup. Jeremiah 51:7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hands. All right, hand that have made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. Therefore, the nations are mad. The nations have lost their mind. Okay, they've lost their mind. All of these nations are bugged out and need to be restored to a righteous order under who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, which the throne of David is going to take care of that, because these nations are going crazy and mad. All right, through you know, following Babylon the Great. Okay. It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen, and destroy how for her, take balm for her pain. If so, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. So this place ain't going to be healed. You see? And the scriptures tell you in Revelation, the 11th chapter, and the nations were angry, and the time of thy wrath has come. And we're living in that time now. These nations are all angry and trying to figure out ways around Babylon the Great and its dominance through that dollar and through that sword. So the Lord is dividing the sword. He's setting up nations, all right, that are looking for ways to operate outside of the dollar, because one of the main ways these nations committed fornication with, you know, Babylon is, you know, by taking on that dollar. Okay, aiding them in the destruction of the Israelites, taking on their democracy. Okay, and many, many more things, man. Whoring out their daughters, okay, taking on the sodomite culture, which all of these heathen are into that garbage. But at the forefront of the rebellion is Babylon the Great, okay. Revelation 17:2, and who the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, okay. And the scriptures talks about, woe to him that putteth this bottle on his neighbor, all right, that he may be drunk, so they may look on the nakedness, man. And ultimately, they've been able to go through the four corners of the earth, okay, and all of these nations are drunk because of the great power and how beautiful she is, all right. They took her on for being this wholesome woman. Now they're finding out, all right, that she's a whore. Okay? And they're tired of her. Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman, okay, which this woman represents America, the whore, sit upon a scarlet colored beast. Okay, and the scarlet colored beast, all right, represents the NATO and the EU. Okay, and it's scarlet colored because scarlet is a derivative of red. Okay, pointing to Esau Edom's rulership, which when you go into the scriptures, it was promised to Esau Edom when he cried for a blessing. All right, Revelation 27:39. And Isaac his father answered him and said, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, meaning you would have, all right, the control of the earth's resources. All right, the scriptures say the king is served by the field. The things that are in the earth are what make a king rich, right? And also human beings, slaves, human resources, as the scriptures say. All right, a ruler without servants, all right, is nothing. Okay, so they have control over the resources. They have control over the human beings. All right, which the number one resource is human resources, right? So their dwelling will be the fatness of the earth. This was a blessing given unto Esau Edom in a dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live. See, and thou shalt serve thy brother, and they served us under David, and they're going to serve us forever under Yahushai. They served us under David and Solomon. All right, but they were able to break, all right, from under that dominion. You know, at the time of Solomon, you read about the Edomites. All right, you know, at the time of David, Solomon, you read about the Edomites, you know, uprooting themselves from under Solomon's authority. That was the first enemy the Lord sent, all right, to cause friction after Solomon went off. Okay, I believe that's in 1 Kings, the 11th chapter. Okay, so he was able to break his yoke, all right, and then again, after the Dark Ages, all right, after the Western Roman Empire, all right, fell, all right, through the Renaissance, they were able to ultimately reestablish that Roman dominance, that Greco-Roman dominance in the earth. So Esau's blessing would be this beast system. All right. And we remember Esau is red. Okay. And scarlet, all you have to do is look it up. Okay. Scarlet is a derivative, if I spelled that right, of red. All you have to do is just look up, see if it comes up, the color scarlet. All right. And scarlet is tied to sin in the scriptures. Okay. Give me 1 second, this damn thing. All right. Scarlet is tied to sin in the scriptures. The scriptures say, though your sins be as scarlet, right? And this is the man of sin. Okay. And through this beast system that he rules under, okay, he's been given power. Yeah, scarlet is pretty much red. Okay. And red points to Esau Edom. Okay. Let's see if I can look that up real quick. Scarlet. Let's see here. Yep. Which in color psychology, red represents danger. All right. Esau Edom represents danger. Isaiah 1:18. Come now, let us reason together, saith the Lord. Though your sins be as scarlet. So scarlet is tied to sin. And this is the man of sin. All right. Ruling. All right. In the blessing that was given unto him. All right. By Isaac. Okay. So the scarlet colored beast represents this beast system that aids Babylon the Great in all of her destruction. All right. And makes her a powerhouse. Okay. full of the names of blasphemy. Okay, so I saw a woman sit up on a scarlet colored beast. So this woman is riding this beast. All right, and I just did a video recent of how, you know, a member of the EU Parliament, all right, admitted, all right, that they're very hypocritical, all right, because they go around calling these other countries and nations, you know, savages and terrorists. But here it is, they've aided America, all right, in the destruction. You know, Iraq is an example. Syria is an example, and there's various examples. All right, even what they're doing over there, those Israel's doing to those Palestinians. They've aided, all right, Babylon the Great. They've aided those small hats in their wickedness, man. And it's full of the names of blasphemies, because out of this system comes nothing but blasphemy against the Most High. Okay, taking us back to Revelation 13. Okay, because in this chapter, Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, John the Revelator lets us know that this very beast system that he's speaking of begins with the Greeks. And what happened at the time of the Greeks? Okay, let's get the book of First Maccabees, the leopard, the Greeks. As John says here, Revelation 13 and 1, and I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, which will break that down. And upon his horns 10 crowns, meaning they're going to be winning in this system. Okay, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy. Okay, all of these Edomite, all right, systems forward blasphemy against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, anti-Messiah behavior. Okay, and remember, the Greeks and the Romans got their gods and their system of worship, all right, from the ancient Babylonians. Okay, from, all right, Canaan, all right, from Egypt. Okay, so all of the anti-Messiah forms of worship that we see being pushed here, they go all the way back to that. Blasphemy against the Most High, man. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. So it starts with the leopard, which when you go to Daniel's vision in Daniel, the 11th chapter, all right, the leopard, all right, Daniel 7 and 6, and I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had on the back of it 4 wings. This represents Alexander the Great, the beginning of the Edomites stealing the lands of the Japhetic people, right? And ultimately, once Alexander died, he had his 4 generals, Lysimaeus, Cassander, Ptolemy, and Seleucid. All right, out of the Seleucid came Antiochus Epiphanes, who led that great rebellion against the Jews when you read the book of Maccabees. So the leopard, okay, was the beginning of Esau, Edom's power structure, which is the Greeks. And when the Greeks came onto the scene, okay, what did they do? Verse 2, and made many wars. First Maccabees 1 and 2, and made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth. All right, because remember, they were blessed with the sword when you read the book of Genesis. All right, so it started with the Greeks, but Rome is where they got their true power from. See? And see, this is what has been reborn into the earth, starting at the Renaissance all the way until now. The Greco-Roman beast image, all right, is in the earth now. Why you think they just had those Olympics? Okay, and went through the ends of the earth and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted and his heart was lifted up. Speaking of Alexander the Great, okay, Alexander, who was a clear historical figure, you can look up, he's mentioned in the Bible. All right, and he gathered a mighty host and ruled over many countries, all right, and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. All right, they paid tribute, they became vassals, right? And after these things he fell sick and he died. And when he called his servants, such as were honorable, all right, and brought up with him, that's Lysimaeus, Cassander, Ptolemy, Seleucid, all right, so when he died, all of his servants bare rule, all right, but they warred with one another. And after his death, they all put crowns on themselves, so did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Evils were multiplied in the earth through Esau's system. See? This is why when you get Revelation 6, Revelation, the 6th chapter, the red horse in verse 4, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given unto him, all right, that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. All right. So again, all right, when we're reading this, this is speaking of Esau's system. All right. Now the 7 heads. All right. Let's read it again. So he carried me away, Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit up on a scarlet colored beast, having the full names of blasphemy. All right. That's what they're about. Their image is blasphemy, the image of the beast. All right. This NWO, New World Order, is all blasphemy against Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. Having 7 heads, which is what? It starts with the Greeks. All right. The Romans. All right. Germanium Major, Germanium Minor. Okay. The Spanish, the French, and the British, which these would be, all right, the major hubs of government, all right, that the beast, all right, will be able to have within this beast system. All right, that's the 7 heads. All right, and of the 7 heads, when we read in Revelation, the 13th chapter, okay, the beast which I saw, verse 2, was like unto a leopard, because it started with the Greeks. All right, and the feet of it were as the feet of a bear. It ends with Russia. All right. But as you see here, it says, in his mouth was as the mouth of a lion, all right, which will show you the British, all right. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So the dragon, which represents Rome, which, all right, when you read the chapter prior, Rome is known as the great red dragon. All right, so this all leads and speaks to Esau, Edom. Okay, they are the ones who control this beast system, and the dragon is what gave Esau, Edom, his power, authority, and seat. All right, and this is what has been re-established in the earth here in these latter days. All right, the Renaissance, after the Western Roman Empire fell, the Renaissance marked the revival of this authority and seat of power. You see? And again, this is speaking of the red dragon, all right, which is spoken of in a chapter prior, all right, the red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, all right, going into how Herod, who was an Edomite, okay, the Herodian dynasty was fathered by who? Antipater the Idumean, all right, but this prophecy, or it goes into the history of what happened with Yahushai. As he was born, Herod tried to put him to death, okay, because this male child was going to rule all nations with a rod of iron. So the Roman Empire gave authority to the Herodians, okay, to rule over the region of Judea. They called themselves the King of the Jews, right? But this chapter labels this dragon as a red dragon, all right, and that takes you to Esau, all right? You would have to be able to link these things in the spirit. And this is what these Christians ain't able to do. What you see Christians now trying to go into Revelation, try to go into Second Esdras and things of that sort, and they don't have it. So the 7 heads, we broke that down, in the 10 horns, all right, represent the vassals, all right, of the Roman Empire. All right, now today that's fulfilled, all right, in the EU, but back then, all right, you had the Vandals, the Ostrogoths, the Alemanni, the Franks, the Visigoths, the Burgundians, the Lombards, the Anglo-Saxons, the Suevi, and the Hurili, which ultimately were vassals, which I had it here, all right, vassals, a vassal state, all right, is basically an obligation. The vassal has principal obligations to the Lord. The Lord will be Rome, all right. It was aid or military service, all right, so they aid, all right, Rome for military purposes, for trade purposes. Okay? Using whatever equipment the vassal could obtain by virtue of revenues from fee. He was responsible for answering military calls to service on behalf of the Lord. Okay? So a vassal pledged loyalty to a lord or a monarch. All right? Which, let's see here, or subordinate. All right? What is a subordinate? Okay. All right. A subordinate political power is a type of power that is subject to some external control because there's a higher power that can limit or direct its actions. All right. In international relations, a client state is a country that is economically, politically, and military subordinate to a more powerful state. So the more powerful state was Rome. The more powerful state is America, Babylon, the Great. All right. But the 10 horns, all right, which represent the EU, all right, ultimately, which today, it started as, going back to the EEC, all right, Belgium, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Portugal, Spain, all right, the UK, then eventually, Australia, Denmark, Finland, Ireland, all right, and so forth. Now all of there's pretty much, I believe, 27 members of the EU, all right. But when you go into the history of the EU, okay, the EU as we know it today goes back to 1993, but they had been working on these, unions, establishing these common markets going back, all right, to the 40s. The 49 NATO was created. And what was the purpose of NATO? Okay, to combat, all right, the USSR, the Soviet power, which was Russia, right? And remember, after World War II, Europe was all messed up, all right? So they started to get things together through, things like NATO, things like the EU, all right? And eventually it led to the rebirth of Rome, okay? Which, again, this all goes back to the Renaissance, starting in the 1400s. So this beast system was able to eventually become a dominant power on the planet Earth through establishing the NATO and the EU. That's why it says, okay, the whore rides the beast. But as you can see here, 10 Western European countries, all right, create the Council of Europe, all right, and as you keep going, eventually in 1957 you have the Treaty of Rome, showing you that this is the reestablishment of Rome, all right, and the role of the EU, which you can look it up, all right. It gives them power and freedom to trade without regulations, all right, and it promotes peace amongst, Europe, okay, and you can look all of these things up, but this is how Esau Edom pretty much controls, all right, the narrative, controls resources, has a military dominant power. And this is why the Lord had to break up the EU and the NATO in these latter days, because it's too powerful. All right. It would look as though America would never lose, you see, but we're living in a time where the vassals and the subordinate countries, all right, are ultimately rising up. Okay. So I think what is yep. A country that has limited power and is dominated by another. This is why at the, these EU convention meetings, America, especially at the time of Trump, is telling the EU what they need to do. They need to put more money in the pot for the military purposes. Okay. And this is how America and those small hats are able to just do what the hell they want, because they're backed by a beast system. Okay. So again, Revelation 17:3. So he carried me away in the spirit in the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. Again, scarlet represents what? Red. Sins. And the name's full of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Okay. And decked with gold and precious stones. And this represents the costliness. Okay. The royalty, the how much money they had. All right. Again, Revelation 13. All right. Tells us that they would have so much power and money that they would be able to deceive them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles that they had power to do in the sight of the beast. They would be a powerful, dominant, all right, even when you get Revelation, the 18th chapter, let's get that. Revelation, the 18th chapter, it talks about how this Babylon was clothed in purple. Okay. The merchandise, Revelation 18:12. All right, the merchandise started at 11, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. We know America's a big consumer. Okay, merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, metal. All right, and purple and silk and scarlet. All right, and when this place falls, Revelation 18:16, saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, that represents royalty and riches. All right, remember the rich man. All right, when you get the parable of Lazarus. All right, boom, Luke 16:19, and there was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. All right, meaning he was winning. Okay. See what this says in the NLT. There was a certain rich man who was splendidly clothed in purple and fine linen, who lived each day in luxury. All right. And this is the elites who really control this system. Right. So this woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. Okay. And decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hands full of abominations and the filthiness of her fornication. And who gave this devil power to do this was the Most High. Okay. Again, Babylon was a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made the earth drunken. So it was the Lord who gave this devil power. So you can't say he's not fair. All right. You were set up. All right. As it is written in the book of 1 Thessalonians. Or 2 Thessalonians, right? 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, all right? And 7, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. And back then, that was the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, okay? It was already at work. They were already in cahoots to get that birthright back. That's why they were calling themselves King of the Jews. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. So the Lord has allowed this devil to build. All right, even after he fell, the deadly wound was healed. All right, he's allowed him, all right, until the time where he's going to be taken out of the way. Just like he allowed Pharaoh to rule and build up. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh, the Lord, through his son Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth through the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Okay, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. So this man is here to do the bidding of Satan. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. Okay, his industrial revolutions, going back, starting at the British, which were able to afford themselves through the power of America that came out of the British. Okay, there's science. Okay, because you have to remember Daniel, as he described this place, all right, said, as you see here, Daniel 7:8, and I considered the horns, and there came up among them another little horn. Out of the fourth beast, which is Rome, came another little horn. This is Babylon the Great, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots: Spanish, French, the British, the Revolutionary Wars. All right, led to eventually, all right, the 13 colonies being established. All right, out of the British, and then eventually through witchcraft and there, you have the 50 United States. And behold, in this horn were the eyes of a man, all right, representing, all right, he's merely a man, but he speaks as if he's the Most High. His science, and a mouth speaking great things. See that? A mouth speaking great things. And see, it will be through this system, the revival of this beast system, the 7-headed, 10-horde beast system, that ultimately the destruction will come. That's when the Lord will set a judgment. Okay, and then we'll go down here to where Daniel expounds, all right, on this beast. All right, and we'll go back to that. But let's get here. Okay. So this place was set up to do the bidding of Satan in the planet Earth. All right. And upon her forehead was a name written: Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And the Apostle Ramlab did a video some years ago on how this riddle, all right, it adds up to 666. But I'll have to find that video. All right. But Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. See, this place is the mother of all harlots. Okay. All of the ancient, all right, forms, systems of rebellion are all fulfilled in America. All right. Along with this beast system. Okay. It's all forwarded through here. And they do it subtly, some things openly, some things secretly. But all of the gods and goddesses that were worshipped in the ancient times they're back here today. And it's played out through the behavior of the people. And I saw the woman drunken, all right, the woman, all right, Rome, America, drunken with the blood of the saints, man. All right. And just think of what, how many Israelites have been destroyed through this system, man. What they did to the so-called Native Americans, man. What they did to you so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians. Okay. Drunken with the blood of the saints, man. Okay. And that's why it says in the prior chapter, Revelation 16, all right, and 5, and I heard an angel of the water say, Thou art righteous, O Lord, which art and was and shall be, because thou hast judged. Okay. For they have shed the blood of the saints and the prophets, okay, under the Roman, going back to the Greeks. What did the Greeks do? They shed the blood of the saints because some of them didn't want to submit to their Hellenization, their gods, get branded, which today is going to be a physical mark, a digital mark, instead of a brand or a tattoo like they made you get, all right, in the ancient Greco-Roman Empire. See? Purpose of branding empire. Right? In ancient Greece, branding served many purposes, including selling goods, showing quality, distinguishing ownership. See? And you don't think that same system is going to present itself here? Well, they've been able to a degree through your social security number, through birth certificates. So now all of this is that was going on in ancient Greece. All right. Look up the Roman Empire. They did branding too. All right. Robbers, runaway slaves were marked by the Romans with letter F. All right. And toilers in the mines, convicts condemned to figure in gladiatorial shows were branded on the forehead for identification. See? So you don't think that which is then is now? That they don't have a plan to brand you for identification? All right? Because it was a brand or a tattoo in ancient Rome. Okay? tattoos in Rome, identification, rites of passage. Okay? So what's your rites of passage here? Cultural significance, punishment. Anyway, okay? Anyway, we here. All right? We are in the Greco-Roman beast system all over again. And again, that which is then is now. Okay? So the verse 6, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahweh Shai. They have to pay for all of that blood they shed. All of the apostles and prophets that were back in the ancient Roman Empire, even particular sisters, all right, and their children who follow Yahweh Shai, they were all slaughtered in the Colosseums by hungry lions, man. See? And this woman is so pretty that when John saw her, right? When John saw her, he wondered with great admiration. He was like, "Wow, this bitch is winning." Okay, she is. I mean, this whore is doing it big. So he got sidetracked looking at this great whore, as we do, even in everyday life. All right, you're looking at how beautiful a woman is, but really, that's the worst woman for you, man. That's why the scriptures say beauty is vain. All right, now there's nothing wrong with a beautiful woman. All right, but a woman, all right, is able to use her beauty, all right, to destroy, get what she wants. You know, have men under, you know, spells. Well, that's why Babylon the Great is likened into a great whore, and it's all symbolism. So John, all right, gets rebuked right here by the angel. And the angel said unto him, all right, wherefore or why did you marvel? See, let's read that in the NLT. Like, what are you marveling about? This bitch gonna be destroyed. Okay. Let's get that here. Why are you so amazed? The angel asked. I will tell you the mystery of this woman and of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, on which she sits. Okay? So I'm going to tell you the mystery of this woman and the beast that carrieth her, because the beast carries the whore, man. Okay? And through their energy, all right, on the planet Earth, you could be a Satanist, a Buddhist, you can be any goddamn thing. You could lust over bears, all right? And you can, all right, the same sex. You could be a pedo, which pedestry was a big thing in the ancient Roman Empire. Okay? See? This is a part of the image of the beast. All right? A sexual relation between an adult man and a boy. All right, it was socially acknowledged practice in ancient Greece and Rome. See? Well, we're seeing that same, all right, image, those same behavior patterns, all right, boasted in this beast system, all right, headed by America, man. Okay, that's a big part of what they got going on. It's a big part of their power. Okay, let's go back. So here, John is saying, I'm gonna tell you the mystery, all right, of the woman and of the beast, all right, that carrieth her, all right, because again, all right, the NATO and the EU carry America, and they're tired of carrying her ass, okay, which have 7 heads and 10 horns, okay. It says, the beast thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. You see that? So the beast that thou sawest was, and this is speaking of America, all right, in the vision that he saw, it was, all right, and is not, because ultimately America hadn't come to its fruition yet, which America was the revival of Rome. Rome was in power at this point, all right. So the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, all right. What does ascending out of the bottomless pit represent? Is the Renaissance period, which ultimately, as we know in Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, Revelation 13 and 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, all right, and caused it the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. All right. And this is what America was able to do. Okay. This beast that came up out of the earth that had two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. This is the revival of Rome. Okay. But it starts at the Renaissance. So he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. And when you look at, all right, American law, all right, it all comes from that Greco-Roman system of rulership, thought process, as we'll show you. That's what the Renaissance did. All right. So he's causing you to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. All right. The deadly wound, all right, that was healed. All right. Revelation 13 and 3. And I saw one of his heads, one of the 7 heads, were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. Okay. So the deadly wound represents, all right, the Western Roman Empire falling. When was the deadly wound healed? Through the Renaissance period. And from that point, the world wondered after the beast, meaning after her philosophies. You see what I'm saying? And when we get Revelation 20, it goes into that. Revelation 20 and 1, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having a key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. Okay? The great chain represented taking down this nation. All right? When you go into a chain, it represents to bound someone, to bind someone. So this angel, all right, was getting ready to take down the Roman Empire, the Western Roman Empire, and the Edomite power structure at that time. And he lay hold on a dragon. It's the same dragon that the whole book of Revelation been talking about, the red dragon, Rome, the Edomites, that old serpent, all right, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years. Okay? And he ultimately, this represents Esau, Edom, all right, for a period of 1,000 years. All right, you can look up how long did the Byzantine Empire last. It's 1,000 years, about 1,100 years, tie into this prophecy. The Western Roman Empire, Esau, Edom, was down and out for a period of 1,000 years, and he was cast into the bottomless pit. All right, chased into the caves. He was a caveman. He was looked down upon. Okay. And shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should not deceive the nations anymore till 1,000 years were fulfilled. And after that, he must be loosed a little season. See, he must be loosed a little season. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which we just showed you in 2 Thessalonians, that this group of people, the biblical Edomites, is here to bring the energy of Satan into the planet Earth. So from 3, all right, you jump to 7. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, okay, which is going to lead, all right, to World War III. He was loosed out of his prison at the time of the 1400s, which is the Renaissance, okay, the Renaissance. And what was the Renaissance? All right, the Renaissance, which means rebirth, is a period in history, all right, and the European cultural movement covering the 15th and 16th century. All right. And there you go. The term means rebirth. Okay. And as you can see here, associated with social change, art, all right, literature, architecture, exploration, science. Okay. The Renaissance was first centered in the Republic of Florence, then spread to the rest of Italy, and later brought to Europe. Okay? And ultimately, it will be forwarded through America. Okay? But as you can see here, the Renaissance intellectual basis was founded in its version of humanism, which is that you know, the non-belief of the Most High, belief in self. Okay, that humanist mindset goes back to that Greco-Roman system, derived from the concept of Roman humanitas, all right, and the rediscovery of classical Greek philosophy such as, all right, Protagoras, who said that man is measure of all things. They worship themselves. Okay, So you could keep looking, but pretty much, as you can see, this was the rebirth of the Greco-Roman Empire, the Greco-Roman thought, the Greco-Roman science, the Greco-Roman philosophy, the Greco-Roman way of ruling. See, this system that we're living in, all right, is an extension of that Renaissance, rebirth, okay? And what was the importance of the Renaissance? Okay, the Renaissance period was a time of great creativity and curiosity that changed the way people thought and influenced the world for centuries. So as you read in Revelation, all right, the 7th chapter, okay, Revelation 17:8, and the beast that thou sawest was and is not, because they hadn't come to their full power yet through America. See, it was, Rome was in power, but it wasn't in its full power. All right. It didn't fulfill the blessing of the fatness of the earth. That blessing will be fulfilled through the system we live in now. All right. When Esau, Edom ascended out of the bottomless pit. All right. For the purpose of going into perdition. He ascended out of the bottomless pit. All right. And pretty much, as you read in Revelation 20, all right, Revelation 20:7, and when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, leading to the war led by Gog and Magog, which is the end of this beast system. You see? And what has he done? He's deceived everybody by bringing in this godless, humanist mindset, all right, that changed the way people thought. All right, changed the way people dealt. All right, they brought about romance. All right, which everything is based upon emotion and not truth. All right, it doesn't get the job done. Okay. It was the time of new discoveries, inventions, and styles, including humanism, which humanism, okay. All right. They don't believe in the Most High, that the agnostic atheist mindset. Esau brings that about. All right. Believe that we understand the world and what is true through experience and reason, not through the Bible, not through the Most High. All right. All right. Yada, yada, yada. All right. You can look up that humanist mindset, but that actually goes back to these Edomites in that Greco-Roman Empire. All right. Inventions. All right. They brought inventions, exploration. They were able to explore, conquer, colonization, art. They took down the dark images. All right. And pretty much painted their own images. All right. The revival of classical learning and wisdom. What is classical learning and wisdom? All right. What is the classics? Okay. As a matter of fact, see if we can look it up here. The classics, pretty much, that's going to take you to Rome. Classical antiquity. All right. Let's just look it up here. The classics. It's the Greco-Roman way of thought, rule, how they deal with sex, the image of the beast. And the image of the beast is speaking through the very system we live in, man. Okay? Classic or classical studies, all right? The study of classical antiquity in the Western world. They study classical Greek and Roman literature and so forth. This is what you're learning. In Western civilization, the study of Greek and Roman classics was traditionally considered to be the foundation of the humanities and has traditionally been the cornerstone, okay, of a typical elite European education. So you're being trained, all right, in the mindset of these ancient Edomites, that stem from the Greco-Roman system. Remember, all right, the beast which he saw, this beast system, started with the Greeks. Okay? And Rome gave them their power and authority. So what the Renaissance was able to do, as the deadly wound was healed, was able to bring back all of that madness, all right, and reestablish it with even more power, all right, which America, all right, along with the NATO and the EU, brought that system back. See? So let's read it again. Revelation 17:8, and the beast thou sawest was and is not, and shall go and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, because ultimately, as we read in Revelation 20, he will go throughout the four corners of the earth doing all his wickedness, lying, and it would lead to war, and eventually he'd be destroyed. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, see, wonder after the beast, those whose names are not written in the book of life, meaning they're going to, all right, be conformed to his image. Okay, 2 Thessalonians says what? 2 Thessalonians 2:9, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness, anti-Messiah behavior, and them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So they're gonna be, you got a bunch of Israelites and the people in the world. They're gonna follow after this image. They're gonna wonder. Let's look up the word wonder. They're gonna wonder after the image. See, if your name ain't written in the book of life, the Lord is going to allow you to be fully taken by this beast in its ways, in his image, man, and take his mark. Okay. Even if you don't take his mark, the lot of you bow to the image. But if you bow to the image, you're going to get that mark. All right. Thaumazo. To wonder, to marvel, to be wondered at, to be had in admiration. So Esau, Edom, has been able to forward his supremacy through pseudoscience, okay, which the Lord has given him power to have in this beast system. Okay? So, and they that dwell in the earth shall wonder, those whose names are not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, meaning they weren't chosen, all right, overall. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. So it was, all right, at the time of Rome, and it is not because it had to be reborn through Babylon the Great, and yet is because, again, as we read in 2 Thessalonians 2:7, and the mystery of iniquity doth already work. It's already doing what is the wickedness. Okay? Operating in that anti-Messiah spirit back then at the time of Rome. Revelation 17:9. All right. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. 7 heads are 7 mountains, which represent 7 governments. All right. On which the woman sitteth. Okay. And again, those 7 mountains is the Greeks, the Romans, Germania Major, Germania Minor. All right. The Spanish, the French, and the British. America was born out of the British. All right. And there are 5 kings. 5 are fallen, as he's looking in prophecy. And back then, all right, those particular kingdoms under their ancient names fell. All right. But one is, and another is not yet come. All right. When he cometh, he must continue a short space. And that's speaking of British. So the 5 that fell, all right, are 5 members of this beast system, which all of these nations will be reincarnated, all right, through the Spanish, the French, the British. You had Germany, all right, with Hitler and all of them, which led to World War II, you see. And after World War II, all right, you know, all of these different wars between, you know, these different European countries, and eventually they came with all of these treaties, and so say got their shit together, all right, and formulated, all right, you had the Treaty of Rome and all of that, all right, which eventually will lead to the very system we're living in right now. So again, there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. All right. One is, all right, and is not yet come. All right. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. That's speaking of the British, which the America came out of the British. And the beast that was and is not America, he is even the eighth and is of the seventh and goeth into perdition. All right. And this is the revival of Rome. All right. He is the eighth because out of the British came America. All right. And before I turn this video on, I was just looking up some research. All right. As you can see here, America is still fundamentally a British colony. Okay. And, you know, you read comments. Let's read a few of these comments. Let's see here. It says what needs to be further investigated is why U.S. still continues to pay taxes to the city of London if it's a free nation. All right. The United States of America is a corporation ruled by the British Crown and the Vatican. And who is the crown of British is the bankers, the Red Shield, the Rothschild people. The U.S. is and has always been a huge corporation ruled from abroad. The initial name was the Virginia Company, which I believe that was in the 1600s, and is owned by the British Crown and the Vatican, who receive their yearly share of profits. The U.S. presidents are appointed CEOs. All right, they are not elected by the people, and their alliance is to the world, the board of directors, not to the American citizens. We are seen as employees of the country, and voting is designed as a distraction meant to offer us the illusion of freedom. That's a great comment. Okay. But America came out of the British as the 13 colonies. Morocco was the first country to acknowledge the 13 colonies as a country. And eventually, all right, through wars, disagreements, and purchases, you have the 50 United States. Okay. See here. The Jewish family that owns America, you know, and you can look this up. It's a pretty good video. I watched it some months ago, but you can look at that too. All right. Because America came out of the British, but technically it's still owned by the British. OK. And this is going into this history here in Revelation, the 17th chapter. Let's go back. Give me 1 second here. Goodness gracious. And this also speaks to Daniel, the 7th chapter, because the little horn that Daniel saw in Revelation, in Daniel, the 7th chapter, all right, is the revival of Rome. Give me 1 second. All right. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's read this again. Revelation 17 and 10. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen. All right. And one is, all right, as he's looking into the future as well, the 5 that will be the fallen, all right, was the Greeks, the Germanium Major, Germanium Minor, all right, the French, the Spanish, right? And another one is yet come, which is the British. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. All right. And that was the start of their industrial revolutions at the time of the British. And the beast that was and is not, the revival of Rome, which would be through America. Okay. Even he is the 8th and is of the 7 and going to perdition. See, this is how they're going to be destroyed. Okay. And let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter. Okay. Again, you have the little horn that came out of the 4th beast. Okay. Daniel 7 and 7. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible. This is Rome, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it brake in pieces. All right. And as he's looking at this 4th beast, Daniel 7 and 8, and I considered the horns, and there came up among them another little horn. This little horn represents America. the revival of Rome, by whom there were three of the first horns plucked up, the Spanish, the French, and the British, by the roots. And behold, in his horn, all right, were the eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. His science, okay, his rebellion against the Heavenly Father, because he would defy the Most High. Okay, he basically would set up a system of blasphemy, all right, through that humanist crap, all right, that goes back to that Greco-Roman, all right, system, which was able to be reborn through the Renaissance. America finishes all of that off. But see, as you read, okay, this is where the Lord sets judgment. That's why it says he's going to go into perdition, because ultimately the Most High is going to set his judgment, okay, as you see here, Daniel 7:11, I beheld because of the voice, all right, of the great words which the horn spake, the new world order, the micro C hip, being able to, transform humans into gods. Okay, no non-binary, no male, no female, a new human. And I beheld till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. See? And that's speaking of how they're going to be destroyed through America. See? But as you go to Daniel 7, all right, and let's see here. He expounds on this revival of Rome. All right. Let's see here. Let's jump to, Daniel 7:21. I beheld the same horn. America made war with the saints and prevailed against them, took down the northern kingdom, all right, enslaved Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, the southern kingdom, right? Put them on slave ships, all of that. Rape, rob, murder. And he prevailed, all right, until, all right, the Most High set a judgment through his son, Yahweh Shai. All right? Give me 1 second here. Okay. It says, Salakia. You know how it is. All right. Let's see here. Let's see here. Daniel 7:23. Thus he said, the fourth beast, Rome, shall be the fourth kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all the kingdoms. All right. Because they had a senate. They didn't, set up monarchs as far as a king passing down the throne to his son. All right. They set up the senate. All right. And ultimately they would eventually devour the whole earth. All right. As it was reborn in the earth, and shall tread down and break in pieces. And the 10 horns are the 10 kings that shall arise. These are the vassals. All right. And we brought all of that out. But Daniel 7:25, and he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and to think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and dividing of times. All right. That 350-year period where the Lord would eventually send the Holy Spirit, which would lead to judgment. All right. Being set. Okay, so this devil, through this system, all right, especially this little horn, America, Babylon the Great, is speaking great words against the Most High and wearing out the saints. Okay, so going back here, all right, Revelation 17:11, and the beast that was and is not, all right, even he is the eighth. He came out of the British, which is the seventh. All right. And is of the seven, and shall go into perdition. He going to be destroyed. The son of perdition, man. All right. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as of yet. All right. But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that goes back, to around the time of the Treaty of Rome, which the 1 hour. All right. If you take, we know 1 day as 1,000 years with the Heavenly Father. All right. If you divide 1,000, all right, by 24, it's 24 hours in a day. All right, 1,000 divided by 24 gives you 42. All right, and when you deal with the 42 years, all right, when you go to the Treaty of Rome, all right, in 1957, all right, to around the early 2000s, all right, marks that 42-year period, all right, which in that 42-year period, all right, these EU countries, all right, were able to expand, all right, and eventually during that time, all right, in around 1991, it led to the fall, all right, of the Soviet Union. See, in the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, which so-called ended the Cold War, all right, it allowed NATO to reinvent itself and take on new challenges. NATO's role changed from presenting a united front against the Soviet Union to a cooperative security organization, dialogue, cooperation, managing conflicts, expanding membership. They were able to expand, all right, even breaking some of the treaties they had with Russia, you know, to no longer expand further east. Well, as you can see, they expanded, all right, further east towards Russia. And they're even trying to get, all right, Ukraine to be a part, all right, of that organization, NATO, all right, which is causing tension with Russia, all right, which we know that's a proxy for America dealing with that Ukraine situation. But the purpose of the Treaty of Rome, all right, in 1957, all right, was those 10 horns, all right. It says 6, but you know, pretty much all of them. It says the Treaty of Rome was signed in 1956 by 6 Western European countries, all right, 6 EU countries to establish the EEC, all right, the European Atomic Energy, all right. And here you see Belgium, France, Germany, Italy, Luxembourg, and the Netherlands. These are all part, all right, of the 10 horns. So as you see here, okay, they receive power, all right, as kings 1 hour with the beast. They were able to expand. They were able to, you know, come up. As you can see here, it created, you know, better common markets, all right, based on the free movement of goods, people. They can move people, services, capital, transform trade, industry, manufacturing, work towards economic growth. All right, so they expanded their kingdoms, all right, through, all right, this Treaty of Rome, which eventually during this time led to the fall of the USSR, Soviet Union, which gave them dominance. All right, takes a step towards a closer unification, all right, of Europe. Today's treaty signatories declare their intention to lay the foundations of an even closer union among the people of Europe, which this is all just a revival of Rome. Okay, but even when we read Ezekiel 28, how it talks about through his wisdom, all right, and his understanding has he gotten the riches, and through his traffic, all right, one of the benefits of the EU, all right, and NATO is the ability to trade, all right, without any resistance, all right, to be able to move things, all right, to be able to have control of economies, all right. By thy traffic, by thy wisdom, and by thy traffic, thou hast increased thy riches. And a big part of how Babylon is able to sit on a high horse is through riding the beast. The word traffic, all right, I believe Rakhala, see, Rakala, merchandise, traffic, trade, right? And a big part of the Treaty of Rome, the EU, is trade. So again, all right, these 10 horns were able to come up during this time, all right, which now a lot of that is working against them as the Soviet Union has become, you know, Russia is getting back in that spirit, that old Soviet spirit, all right. The Lord has put hooks into their jaws. And when you read Revelation, the 20th chapter, okay, you know, Esau, Edom, you know, under this beast system, their evil doings, which they have power to do, all right, is going to lead to Gog and Magog, All right. Revelation 27. And when 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four corners of the earth, the Renaissance, which led all the way to America, Babylon the Great, all right, NATO, EU, all right. They're going to go out and deceive the nations with the power they have, all right, economically destroying these various different nations, making them to depend on them, sending economic hitmen, okay, doing all of this wickedness. And it's going to lead to Gog and Magog gathering these different nations together to come against Babylon the Great. All right. And as well as they're going to come against the land of Israel. Okay. Which the least of the flock is drawing out these nations right now. Okay. As we are looking into this world, we're looking at what's happening. All right. The EU, NATO countries are split over what's going on with Israel, Iran. See? So it's all happening right before our eyes. Okay. Going back, Revelation 17 and 13, these have one mind and shall give their power, all right, and strength unto the beast. They have one mind because ultimately they want that one world order. All right. And they've all given, all right, over their militaries and their, financial into this beast system, which really has over the years benefited America. All right. And they're tired of that. Okay. As we're going to show you, as we always go into the beast hating the whore, which Daniel, the second chapter, taps into how at the very end, all right, this very beast system that's been formulated, they're going to start to disagree. And we're seeing that in the earth. All right. Victory of the Lamb. These shall make war with the Lamb. All right. And the Lamb shall overcome them. So when these wars break out, all right, and these nations are fighting each other, and they're going to, when Yahushua returns, America's destroyed by, these different nations that are a part of EU and, Russia and all of that. These nations are going to fight against the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And he's going to overcome them. All right. And that's spoken about here in 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, as Esdras is getting the vision, all right, of the return of the Lord. All right. And ultimately, when he comes, verse 5 says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right. So all of these nations, all right, but the main power, is going to be, of course, all right, NATO and the EU. All right. They're going to fight against the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Okay, because America is going to be destroyed. And it tells you in verse 33, verse 32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son be declared, who thou sawest, a man ascending from the heavens. All right. And when all the people shall hear his voice, all right, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have against one another. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and overcome him by fighting. See, but he shall stand up on the top of Mount Sion, that chariot, and Sion, which we're going to be beamed up into that chariot, shall come and be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, their space force, their charagma, for which their wicked life are fallen into a tempest. All right. And he's going to destroy. He's going to take them down. Okay. Revelation 17 and 14. These shall make war with the Lamb. Okay. All of these different nations, of course, the NATO and the EU. All right. But he shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. The elect being beamed up, the angels that are with him, all right, will get victory over the beast, over his image, over his mark. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are people and multitude and nations and tongues, because he's been given power over them. See? And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast shall hate the whore, See, at one point they carried the whore, all right, but at the end of the vision, they're going to hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. So the EU and the NATO are going to be responsible for helping aid in the destruction of America, right? For God hath put it in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree to give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of the Most High should be fulfilled. See? So he's put it in their minds to ultimately aid Babylon, the new Rome, all right, and to ultimately getting to where it's so powerful and dominant, all right, but at the very end, as it is spoken of in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, okay, Daniel, the 2nd chapter, all right, the revival of Rome, Daniel 2:40, and the 4th kingdom shall be as strong as iron. That's Rome. All right. And then you go to the feet and toes. All right. Which is ultimately the NATO and the EU. Okay. It's going to be part iron and part potter's clay. So the kingdom is going to be divided. And we're seeing that. All right. In these days. Okay. The EU countries are entirely split over Israel, Iran, and the Houthis. All right, the divided, reshuffled, and politically bruised Europe's leaders head to the NATO summit. So everything that they've binded up after World War II in the form of these, agreements and covenants and treaties and, common markets, it's all breaking up now. Okay, this military power that now they're divided. How a diminished and divided Europe put on a brave face for NATO. Okay. Ahead of NATO summit a month ago, Europeans appear vulnerable and divided across from U.S. Boom. Okay. NATO members are divided on supporting Ukraine. I mean, and the rest is history. Okay. That's why we always go into beast hating the whore. When you see us do those videos, this is what we're going into. Okay, I just did a video, Prophecy Watch, where an EU chief admits the double standards in supporting Babylon and Israel on war crimes. Watch that video if you haven't. It speaks to everything that John the Revelator saw, where the beast, all right, is going to hate the whore. And eventually they're going to help aid, Russia and these various different countries, Iran. They're going to aid, all right, those countries in destroying this place, man. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigneth over the kings of the earth. And Babylon is that great city. Okay. And it's getting ready to go into perdition. Okay. Destruction. That great city is Babylon. All right. The great city divided, Babylon. Standing afar off, Allah's that great city, Babylon. So Babylon is that great city. All right. Revelation 18:21. And the angel, mighty angel, took up a stone like a great millstone, Yahweh Shai, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus will violence of the great Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. All right. So this concludes the breakdown of Revelation, the 17th chapter. Hopefully I will edify on to the next. Shalom.